Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. I am the CHALL from Chal Sport, your YouTube sporting network, and I'm going to be talking about some Doncaster Rovers news that's come out over the last 48 hours. So, this from the Free Press, and this was a speak with Coppinger, the head of football operations at the club, and this is speaking about what type of players he wants to bring in the summer window and his thoughts going into the transfer business. So before we get started, make sure you do like the video if you've loved it, comment down below your thoughts and opinions, subscribe if you're new around here, click the notification bell to never miss a YouTube video, and for now, let's have a look at what Coppinger has to say. So via the Free Press, the head of football operations Coppinger has been speaking about Rovers' squad and what the club is looking to do in the summer transfer window. The Rovers were relegated from EFL League One in desperate fashion, and the size of the summer's rebuild has been a source of debate amongst the fan base. But Coppinger believes Rovers are in a strong position heading into a very different window to the one this time last year. Now, he officially told the Rovers media team, with the players we've already got here, I believe we've got a really strong squad. Last year we were in a little bit of a different situation where we were trying to recruit and there was a lot that came through the door. This year it'll be specific ones that we want to bring in. Characters that can complement the dressing room really well and can influence the dressing room. Last year, it was tough on the younger players. We spent a lot on last season not being able to get on what we call leads on the pitch and experience on the pitch. The young lads were thrown in at the deep end, whereas we want to bring characters in, lads that can help and influence drive those players on. Now, of course, Harrison Biggins is the first signing of the summer. They brought them in last month, and Coppinger's thoughts on that was, I think it was a no-brainer from our perspective, seeing how well he did against a struggling team at Fleetwood last year. He's got a good eye for goal, full of energy, so we believe he can add to and complement the midfielders we've already got really well. Getting over the line, early doors set the tone. It shows we have an intent to bounce back from last season, and of course, if you didn't know already, the summer transfer window does officially open on the 10th of June, so just in a few days' time. But now let's share my thoughts on the type of characters that Coppinger wants to bring in to Doncaster Rovers Football Club. So that is where we are at with Coppinger's thoughts on the rebuild process at Doncaster Rovers over this summer period. Now, Gary McSheffrey only brought in a few permanent signings over the January window, and we're expecting something around that mark again. McSheffrey wants a squad size of 25 or 26. We've got 21 players under contract right now. Looks like we're only going to bring in about 5 players at maximum, 4 or 5. With Biggins being one of them. So, you know, does this, I'm guessing this will not include the loanees. I'm guessing we'll bring in like an extra couple of loanees maybe. I don't know. Maybe that's what we're expecting here, but we don't know, do we? Maybe we're only going to get 2-3 permanents and maybe 2-3 loans. So you never know, do you? It's going to be very interesting to see exactly what our transfer business is going to be like going forward. Like I said, Harrison Biggins is signed number 1. Obviously, it's going to be very interesting to see, you know, where we're going to go. I did actually prepare something ready for today's video, and it's sort of a little bit as to what we need position-wise. So I want to show this on your screen right now. Fandabidozi. Now, obviously, you'll see by the 2 team sheets what it is. So basically, what I've done is I've took the 2 formations that we are probably more than likely to play next season, and that is the 4-3-3 and the 3 and the sort of, I guess you could call it 3-5-2, or you could call it as a 5-3-2. Now, let's focus on the 4-3-3 first, because I think that's the primary formation I think we're going to play with. So, as you can see, goalkeepers-wise, Jonathan Mitchell and Lewis Jones. There is Ben Bottomley as well, but I think he'll be loaned out. At right back, Carl Noyle and Charlie Seaman. At right centre-back, Tom Anderson, Roshan Williams and Ollie Younger. At left centre-back, Joseph Olowu, and there is no one at left-back. In the midfield, we've got Ben Close, Harrison Biggins and Adam Clayton. The reason why I haven't included Liam Ravenhill is because he will be loaned out, in my opinion. On the left-hand side, Tommy Rowe, Aidan Barlow and Jordi Awula, even though I think Jordi Awula should be leaving for another club. John Taylor and Joe Dadu on the right-hand side, even though I think Joe Dadu will probably leave for another club. And then up front, Rio Griffiths and Kieran Agard. So the positions needed, we need a minimum of 2 left-backs. I'll be brutally honest, we need at least 2 left-backs. We need a left centre-back, you know, just to shore up that side of the defence. We need at least 2, maybe 3 more centre midfielders. We need a minimum of 1 or 2 wingers either side, and then another striker. Now, in terms of the loans to bring in, if we're using 4 as a maximum, I think we should bring in a left back on loan as well as a permanent left back. We should be bringing in 2 centre midfielders on loan, so a playmaker and a backup box-to-box midfielder, or a sort of a competing box-to-box midfielder. So basically someone to compete with Biggins and someone to compete with Close, and then have a permanent signing to be a longer-term deep line playmaker to longer term replace Adam Clayton sort of in the future. And then a loanee on the wing, so either a loanee on the wing or a loanee and a permanent on the wing. The striker I think should be a permanent sign. I don't want to see any more strikers on loan, but I think that's probably what I'm going to go with, but this is just what I want to see. Now switching to the other formation, the 5 at the back, 5-3-2, 3-5-2, however you want to call it. So again, Mitchell, Jones in goal. Right centre-back, Williams and Younger, Tom Anderson as the centre, Alo as the left centre, no one at left-back / left wing-back, Carl Noyle and Charlie Seaman as at right-back / right wing-back. Of course, the midfielders are out on their own, and then we've got the strikers out on their own. So from that one, we need at least 2 left wing-backs or left-backs. One of them I think should be on loan, as I've done with the other left-back in the other formation. We need a left centre-back and a centre-back. So I think the centre-back, the one in Tom Anderson's position or competing for Anderson's position, should be brought in on loan. I think that is a given for me. And then bring in maybe a permanent left centre-back to compete with Olowu. I know Olowu is hard to compete with, but maybe have a backup to Olowu, like a much more experienced option. Then bring in minimum 2 or 3 centre midfielders, one of them on loan. Again, the same situation with the midfielders. I would go in with maybe a permanent in Adam Clayton's position and Ben Close's position, and then maybe a loanee in Harrison Biggins' position, just sort of, you know, for that whole, just for that season, just to give Biggins that game time as well. And then a minimum of 2 strikers. I think one of them should be on loan. So that is my predictions for each of the positions. Now, my thoughts on what kind of players Coppinger needs, I think it's very, very interesting. I think that Coppinger, in a way, he's right. You know, it is going to be a much more stronger window going into it. Yes, the quality of players in that team may not be what fans are happy about. I think where I sort of get what he's saying is, I think in terms of numbers, I think 'cause we went into this time last year with a very thin squad and we brought in a lot of players. This time we haven't got such a thin squad. It's just the quality of the squad that needs improving with a few players. So, you know, the depth is better this time than this time last year, but on paper, we do need to bring in a better quality of player and someone who's going to try hard for the club, someone who's going to give his all for the club, someone who's going to put his heart on the line every single week and give 100% no matter what, win, lose or draw. So it's the quality of player that needs improving now in this summer, rather than this time last year where we were improving in quality and depth. This time we're improving in just quality because the depth is better than last year. So I get where he's coming from that, and, you know, hopefully, fingers crossed, we have a good window this year. And because if we don't have a good window, I'm sure the fans will let the board have it and let them know what they think. So, you know, it's going to be a very interesting scenario. I've said for months this is our biggest window since 1998 when we were in the conference. After such a rich history in the Football League at the time, you know, that whole ownership and the whole problems behind those. You know, we all know the problems with that ownership in the 1990s, the late 1990s. You know, we don't want to encounter similar problems. So, you know, it's going to be a very, very interesting summer, a very big summer for the club as a whole, on and off the pitch. And we'll see what happens. But that's going to be it for this video, guys. Make sure you do like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more content from football, basketball and ice hockey, as well as some other sports videos as well. And for now, I'm the CHALL from Chell Sport, and that is full time. Have a wonderful day.